Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. All super helpful, by the way. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Anthillio from the Today I Effed Up subreddit, and says, today I fucked up by turning my girlfriend into a freaking orange. There is one background fact that is crucial to this story. Every morning my girlfriend wakes up, reaches for a moisturizer and puts it on before she is even fully awake. She says it's the only way she doesn't forget it. On to the actual fuck up. On Thursday I was hanging out in my little sister's room as she was putting on makeup for our family dinner. Now sis is in a bit of a phase. Mum, with her makeup, she puts on a literal fuck ton of cream that is supposed to make her skin bronze. The result is more like bright orange. As I watched her, I realized the cream was kinda sort of the same shade as my girlfriend's moisturizer. Immediately, a brilliant plan formed in my mind. I asked my sister if she would mind lending me a bottle of cream and she was game. She has a hoard of that stuff. Late into the night, as my girlfriend was sleeping, I implemented my cunning plan, replacing the moisturizer in its little jar with my sister's bronzer cream. Friday morning started just as I brilliantly envisioned. Girlfriend bolted up right at the sound of her alarm, reached for the moisturizer. Like I said, she does this on absolute autopilot, so she slathered her face in bright orange well and good before she realized something was wrong and ran to the mirror as I started laughing. What I thought would happen was she would laugh it off. She is always game for pranks and maybe 10 minutes late to work taking it off. Her work doesn't care. Instead, she turned to me and began screaming her head off. It then slowly dawned on me that Friday morning she had an interview for a dream job and she told me about this numerous times. As I provided dutiful support and encouragement yet somehow completely forgot about it. You think this is bad? Nah. To make matters worse, I tried to damage control by saying I thought the interview was next Friday instead of saying I forgot. She pointed out just a couple of days ago I booked us a Friday to Monday trip starting next Friday. Being a smart woman she is, girlfriend had woken up for an interview early enough she had time to take off the cream and fix her face, but the cream had given her some sort of reaction, leaving her face swollen and itchy. To top it all off, a moisturizer is very expensive and hard to get. I was planning to replace it, of course, but I was taken aback at the price. Why didn't I just place it into a small Tupperware or something instead of throwing it out is beyond me. Obviously, the entire thing threw my girlfriend off her groove. At around 4 last night, I cautiously texted her to ask how the interview went. She responded, "Alright," then texted me saying she wants to visit her best friend that night and will probably crash there, even though we had plans to go out. It's all I've heard since. Opie came in with a small little update in the same post, which said, just got some text from the lady. She said she didn't want to break up or anything, but she has definitely taken a few days to cool off. She also said that the prank itself was fine, but the fact that I forgot about her job interview was a big deal. Finally, she said that if she doesn't get the job, she will always wonder if she could have done better had this not happened, and that could be a strain on our relationship. There is no point in getting upset ahead of time. As you can imagine, I groveled my ass off deservedly. I never understand pranks in these relationships. I know some relationships absolutely love them and all this kind of stuff. Like OB said that apparently they like pranking each other. But I mean, really, to this level? Emptying out cream, refilling it and waiting for the morning? I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. And I know it's not really the point of the story, but I'm wondering how much this moisturizer cost. I've seen some expensive shit, man. And as soon as you said little jar, I thought, that sounds expensive. I don't know why. And as always with these stories, I try to get into the person's thoughts, what they're thinking at a time. I just can't. What goes through your mind to think, I know what I'm going to do here? I mean, come on, man. And OP said he thought the worst would happen, that it'd take maybe 10 minutes late to work, which is bad in itself, and just while she was sort of taking it off. Now, I'm clueless about all this stuff, and I'm gonna have to Google it after I finish recording this, but surely it fades off rather than you can't wash the bronzer off? I don't know. But Nabab says I'd recommend buying her a ton of the moisturizer as well as an apology note and her favourite candy, flowers and whatever, and no more practical jokes for a long while. Opie says, the thing with my girlfriend is, she believing in pampering a person who you upset to let them de-stress, but she gets upset about what she perceives as attempting to buy forgiveness. It's a fine line that is not always easy to walk. I Make Sawdust says, in quotes, she said she didn't want to break up or anything, but she's definitely taken a few days to cool off. And then says, is code speak for she's considering breaking up? You'll know for sure when she tells you next week that she thinks it would be best if you two cancel the weekend vacation you'd planned. Hamlin Bone says, Jesus, what a bonehead. I've never actually been able to say that. You're very lucky she didn't dump your ass straight away. This kind of prank is a red flag in a relationship that shows you have poor judgment and don't think things through. In addition to caring more about yourself, doing something you thought would be funny, and your girlfriend remembering an important day and respecting her things. Hope you have learned a valuable lesson from your fuck up and are preparing yourself for what may very well be coming soon, and that is you being dumped. I wouldn't be at all surprised if her friends and or family have already encouraged her to do so. I know I may sound like a hard ass here, but what you did just isn't cool and can't just be written off as just a backfired prank. Bloody bonehead. And one more comment from Zanpai who says, pro tip, never prank someone involving anything they use on their skin or hair. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's kind of like fucking with someone's medication. Skin is very sensitive, and without trying to generalize, many women spend years learning what works for them and what doesn't. You really didn't think and showed some obviously negligent behavior towards your girlfriend. Frankly, the whole story says to me that you do not actively listen to her and are dismissive and disrespectful of her personal items and care. Wasn't there like a story a couple of years back about someone who put like hair dye in a shampoo bottle for their girlfriend, and it was just like, oh, what the fuck do you think that, what goes through your head, man? Honestly. So Opie did come back in to update the post and says, so I showed my girlfriend the post and she had a good laugh at all the creative ways you people deservedly ripped me a new asshole. We then agreed we should update your. She got the job. Unsurprisingly, she is one of the smartest and most capable people I know. With a kiss ass in. I've replaced the moisturizer and sincerely apologize for my stupidity and forgetting the interview date due to my own stress and being a general cretin. As well as lying about it. I don't know why bonehead and cretin, they just set me off, man. I'm generally forgiven, but on probation. And you can bet I will never fuck up like that again. My girlfriend wishes me to let you guys know her moisturizer was from Hatcher. Let me just Google that quick. Holy shit. That's some expensive stuff. Just chucking out some random prices of little tubs I can see here. 67, 93, 113 pounds, 125 pounds. Holy moly. We'll continue now. She also says that she is a bit mad. So many people assume she wasn't saying the truth when she said she wasn't mad about the prank, only about forgetting the interview and lying. I always mean exactly what I say, thank you very much. That said, I'll take your comments to heart and never ever mess with anyone's skincare or makeup again. Finally, there was one unexpected development. Apparently my mum, a sweet retired nurse who by her own admission struggles to navigate her own inbox, is a Redditor. A friend from her Facebook knitting group helped her set up an account because apparently Reddit knitting community is really great. Anyway, mum says Reddit is easy to use except the search is a bit wonky. Lol. My mum saw the post as it hit the first page and quickly pieced together it was from me. Thank God I used the throwaway. Then in mum logic, she actually didn't call me but my girlfriend. Completely mortified, and they spent a half hour discussing what a freaking idiot I was. Girlfriend said it was a very bonding experience. Mum also says she left a comment on the original, but I don't really want to search for it, lol. But if you see this, hi mum. And there was a lot of talk about the expense of that moisturizer after and what would happen if, their other half got rid of a bunch of it. It'd be a lot of ruined relationships. But what do you guys make of this situation? Put yourself in it. How would you deal with it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from a deleted user from the relationship advice subreddit and says, I found out that my fiance has been untruthful. Do I cancel everything? My fiance and I are meant to be married this April. He just moved in with me around September of last year. We've been dating for 5 years. Of course, there were a few quarrels as we tried to get used to living with each other, but ultimately, nothing serious. But then this past 3 weeks, things have really taken a turn. It first started during New Year's Eve. He went out with his friends for drinks. I'm not much of a drinker and I was tired from all the socializing during Christmas, so I decided to stay back. I told him that it would be nice if he could come back before midnight, but understand if he couldn't. He came back around 2 a.m. I could tell he was a little drunk, but not the drunkest he's ever been. He told me one of his New Year's resolutions was to have 1 day a week to just be our day, and we chose Saturday. Fast forward to the next week, and the first Saturday I was all excited to have our day and ordered some takeaway for us to have a chill day. He got up and went to his PC and started playing a game with his friend instead. When I confronted him about it, he said, maybe Sunday? I was really hurt. I stopped talking and went to be by myself while he continues gaming. From here, I stopped talking, stopped cooking, stopped doing any housework for 4 days. I just focused on myself and went to work as usual. This is the first time in 5 years I've done this. Usually I would forgive him a little too quickly. I broke the silence because I noticed he has only been eating toast and hasn't showered since I stopped talking to him. We made up, talked it through, and all is okay again. Fast forward to 1.5 weeks from that initial argument. We were playing board games together when he received a call that he quickly declined. He said it's an unknown number, so it could just be a scam call. I told him it could be the energy guy. We were waiting for an energy rating for the house, so I called the number back and it was some guy asking to speak to my fiance. I asked him who he was. He said he's been showing my fiance some flats around town. My heart sank. I confronted him about it and he told me that he's been lying to me the past 2 weeks and has been house viewing. He said he feels less attracted to me because I haven't been losing weight for the wedding like I said I would, and all I do is stress eat. Well, surprise, surprise. I've been doing the wedding planning all by myself. I have a stressful job, social care, so when I get back from work, I'm mentally drained, but even then, I would cook for him, etc. I'm just surprised that this person who couldn't plan a date to save his life could plan all of this behind my back while I'm at work. Since then, he's spoken to his GP and got back on antidepressants and suggested we do couples counseling. Wish I could add a lot more, but I am conscious that it's very long already. I'm at the point where I just want to cancel everything, but afraid that I'm jumping the gun too soon. Now, I know depression does crazy things to different people. You know, I've been through it myself. I know what it's like, but obviously it's different for other people at the same time. But the thing that really jumped out to me was in this moment when you were struggling to deal with everything. And he even said to you that all you do is stress eat. So he knows you're stressed. He knows you're struggling. Instead of coming in to help you, to support you like you would expect in a marriage, he chose that he's going to make a run for it. He was making a plan to get out of there. And that pretty much just said it all for me. Do you really want to continue down this path? I don't think I would want to. And in the comments, the K-pop cat says, you caught your fiance making his exit plan behind your back and you still think it's going to be a wedding. Keep planning if you want to end up alone at the altar. This guy is dumping you and doesn't have the courage to say it to your face, but made detailed exit plans and started to work on them. Wake up, it's over. Another commenter says he's once again forcing her to actually do the work of dumping him. Keep It Daddy says, when OP was upset about the our day being rescheduled, he just sulked for days until OP put the work to breaking the silence and speaking to him. He didn't initiate conversation, didn't apologize, didn't acknowledge anything, but sulked around like a child on a hunger strike till OP broke the silence to address it herself. Lark PDX says he wants to talk about your weight when he hasn't washed his ass in days. He didn't plan a date because he just doesn't want to. He clearly does want to move out, and he can work on his mental health on his own, and can cook and clean for himself because that's all you are to him. So OP updates their post in the same post and says, I've cancelled the wedding and asked him to pay back all of the deposits to me, which he did. I've also asked him to continue his plans to move out, but he is now hesitant and still wants to work things out. But he admitted that he doesn't love me anymore. Lol, make it make sense. Give me a break. I'm getting a lot of heat and nasty things said. You guys okay? I'm here to answer some of the FHQs. Yes, I did talk to him before Saturday about what are we gonna do. You wanna go out or stay in? So it's not just a drunk promise, and he wasn't completely blindsided. I understand that giving him the silent treatment was toxic and unacceptable and didn't help, but please know that this was the first time I did that. I was so extremely tired, mentally and emotionally exhausted because I have to say, tell and nag him all the time, and he's clearly not listening, so I figured why waste my breath. However, I understand and accept that it's not the way to go. Majority of the time, I'm always the first to try and talk things out after we both have calmed down and find a common ground and move forward from there. There was a time in the relationship where every time we have an argument, he would call his mum, and she would call me to tell me to be gentle with him. He's only paying 25% of the wedding. My dad and I are paying for the majority of it. It is now the next morning. I'm happy to announce that I am now a free woman. Woohoo! I've slept on it and I didn't regret cancelling the wedding. Of course, there is a little feeling of sadness in me. I'm going to allow myself some time to grieve and hopefully it's onwards and upwards from here. Thank you everyone. And edit. He is now aware of this post. Last night I tried giving it one last shot at this, but he said he doesn't love me anymore and was hoping that he will learn to love me again by April. What? That's what made me finally pull the trigger. He said he's trying to change. Also, it's not entirely his fault because I can choose what I eat too. Fair, but really, still? Someone says to OP, wait a minute, you guys got engaged before even living together. But why? OP says because we come from different cultures, and after dropping out from university, he went back to his parents. Handgun Slinger makes a comment which OP is going to reply to in a second, and it says, it seems he has an easy excuse for anything he does that's shady. I majored in psychology while in college, so I understood depression intellectually. But when my wife of over 18 years told me she wanted a divorce, I came to understand depression far more personally. So, from a guy that's been there, I can tell you that previously depressed people want nothing to do with depression once it's in remission. Unless he wasn't very depressed. The last thing he'd want to say about himself is that the depression has raised this ugly head. So tell me, other than his saying the depression made him do it, what other signs were evident that his mood was on the downswing? His first reason for seeking other living arrangements was that you hadn't lost weight for the wedding. Now he's supposedly taking antidepressants again and wants couples counselling. Anything but acknowledging that he was showing his bastard side. I recommend, however, that he seek personal counselling to chase the snakes out of his head. I also recommend that you completely reevaluate him and whether he truly adds anything to your life. OP responded saying thank you for your comment. You know what's funny? I have a master's in psychology and this whole thing made me question myself. How can I not tell he was depressed? How could I this, that and the other? I've not only studied it, I've lived and experienced it too. Every time we have a big argument, his mum would find out. This time it wasn't him telling her, but I called her myself. I have a good relationship with his parents and I love them dearly. I call them because my parents are in a different country and every time his mum would tell me to be gentle with him because maybe he's depressed. I'm so tired of all these excuses. No one here has extended me the same grace. All my friends and family are far away, but I could always run home to mummy and daddy, plus he has friends nearby too. Just looking back at it, his routine is go to work, go out for board games with his friends every Monday, pub quiz and his friends on Tuesday. He games every day, sometimes goes out for drinks with friends on the weekends, etc, etc. Whilst all I do is work, come back home, housework, wedding planning, sleep, go work again. I think I'm more depressed than he is. I need time to grieve, but I will be okay. I think it'd be interesting down the road, and I'll certainly keep an eye out for that update, but I hope OP comes in one day and gives us like an update on their future, because I think it'd be very, very different. Like they said, they need time to grieve their relationship, although it seems like it, to many of us looking in, it was an awful one. But when you're living it, normalizing it, it just becomes part of your routine. So once they've stepped out of it and they're living their own life, doing their own things, doing stuff with their friends, their own hobbies, just going out and enjoying life a bit. It'd be really interesting to see how their attitude changes. And I certainly do wish the best for them. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day.